to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. So as you guys know, every single Friday I read your guys' MLM horror stories. I really love doing these videos and really being able to share your guys' experiences. So grab your coffee, grab your tea. I've already had my coffee for today. I actually splurged on some Starbucks and now I just have my water. I also want to mention that this video is sponsored by Skillshare. So thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and let's get right into it. So the first MLM horror story is called Beachbody: The Aftermath. It says, "Hey Deanna, I previously submitted my Beachbody experience to your channel. Since then, there's been some drama once I officially canceled my coaching account. If you were to say my story, please keep me anonymous. Just a brief backstory, I joined Beachbody when I was unemployed and not in the best state of mind due to the pandemic. I missed social encounters and wanted to get healthier, so this sounded like a win-win to me. I quit because my coach, let's call her Ann, was stressing me the heck out with rank advancement, success club, cold messaging, and posting on social media every day. One day I discovered several anti-MLM channels, including yours, and the wheels begin to click. I hate confrontation and knew once I hit the cancel button that Ann would reach out to me. I had previously told her that I felt more comfortable being a discount coach. This brought me some time to work up my courage, and realistically, me being a discount coach that was inactive did nothing for her rank and commission. A few weeks after I told Ann I would step back, another coach, let's call her Leslie, we both had the same upline, had reached out and said how everyone misses me. Trying to be polite, I replied saying, "Oh, I miss you guys too. Coaching just wasn't my thing. I hope that everyone is doing well." Leslie's reply was along the lines of, quote unquote, "Coaching is the right thing, but maybe not now. Just keep posting your workouts and health and people will be drawn to you if you decide to come back." Nice try. I stopped replying to Leslie. Maybe a month and a half after telling my coach Ann I would be a discount coach, I officially hit the cancel button. Big surprise, she actually reached out to me and asked if I was sure I wanted to do that. These girls can never take no for an answer. Since quitting, my customers and coaches were placed under her. One of my dear friends liked the Beachbody workouts but never bought the products, especially since she was one of the few people I felt comfortable venting to about my experience with Beachbody. Within 24 hours, she told me how Ann was already trying to sell her product, and my friend replied to the email writing, "Unsubscribe." That's the definition of girl code. If these actions don't speak for themselves, I don't know what else will. I know this is tame for a lot of Beachbody stories, but this is very common. Thanks again for listening. Yeah, no, it doesn't need to be crazy stories for me to read them. Any story is valid, and I want to read them on my channel because I know she said they were tame. Yeah, this is definitely something that happens. So if most of you guys don't know, a lot of people, when they're trying to leave Beachbody or any MLM, it can become very hard to leave because you don't want to let people down. You don't know what to say to your upline. A lot of people actually feel, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, they feel as if they owe their upline something because their upline brought them into this opportunity and they just don't know how to tell people. So for her, you know, she backed down and said, "Oh, I'm gonna be a discount coach. I just want to be here for the discount. I want to take a step back." So it does stink that clearly Ann, the upline, didn't really get that, and you could tell that she wants people to buy the product. So I don't know if you guys know, I get this question a lot, but when people leave their MLM, if they have customers or coaches or people in their downline, reps, whatever, those reps and clients go to the upline. So when someone quits who has people under them, the upline then gets all of their contact info, like their email, whatever, so that they can contact them and essentially help them. So I mean, I understand the person reaching out to the friend Leslie because Ann reached out to Leslie like, "Hey, I'm your new coach, you know, you're a client, I'm your new coach," but I can see where like maybe the Leslie chick got a little annoyed because she doesn't want to buy products and she's being asked to buy products like within 24 hours of our girl here quitting. But yeah, it is very common. It's something that happens. And your girl, your friend was definitely in girl code. She didn't, you know, end up really responding to her. But also the fact that someone in the downline also reached out to this person that sent the horror story and said, "Oh, you know, keep posting, keep working the biz even if you don't want to do it long term so that people can come to you whenever you come back." I personally just don't like that because I'm thinking about myself in everyday life, and this is just me. Please let me know if you have a different opinion. But me in everyday life, I don't want, like, I'm gonna use 2 YouTube creators because why not? I don't want Isabella and Margaret talking to each other about me, and then if Margaret's mad at me, then Isabella reaches out to me like trying to nag me about what Margaret Margaret was nagging me about. Like, that just makes me feel like people are talking about me, and me like growing into being an adult, I just don't like that. I would rather just go to somebody or be like, hey, are you gonna buy this product? Like, if not, cool. I'm not gonna go to friends and be like, oh, you should reach out to her and say this, because that's your business. Like, I don't know. I personally just don't like that. I feel like people should just go to each other. But in MLMs, it could feel a lot like a quote unquote sisterhood, you know, when you're in the MLM. So it's very common for them to kind of talk about each other, talk about people that quit, and conversate about them. So that does kind of suck, because then that means she knows people that were talking about her when it comes to like the upline and everything like that. But thank you so much for sending your story. Now let's move on to the next one. And also, let me know what you guys think about this one. I'm very curious. Did you have something similar? Did you have an upline that whenever you said, oh, I want to take a step back, did they have other people reach out to you? Did they keep reaching out to you? Did they reach out to your clients that you had prior? Like, I'm just really curious how common this may be. Next story, it says, hola, about a year and a half ago, I got pregnant with my first baby. Oh, trigger warning, it is going to talk about pregnancy loss, so you can skip through. I will have timestamps on this if you want to go to the next horror story and not listen to this one. But it says, about a year and a half ago, I got pregnant with my first baby, which I lost at 5 months. Anyways, during this time, I began to stress about money. I'm not even sure why. We do okay, and I would be getting maternity leave. However, I do have crazy student loans, and I was quite the spender. But I think I got on mom providing mode, LOL. Anyways, my aunt began calling me more. That being said, she had been calling for about a year, insisting my mom and I should join her in RNF, Rodan and Fields, for those of you guys who don't know. That's to say, she's my aunt from my dad's side, who I'm not very close with, and my parents are no longer together. So why is she trying to get my mom to join? That is weird, unless they were close before, like if the aunt was close to the mom, but like if they're not close, that is kind of weird. Anyways, after a year and a bit of insisting, I finally agreed that I would join her team. To start, I had to buy $500 worth of product. Yes, there's cheaper ones. However, she insisted that this is the one I should purchase. So when I say we do okay, I mean, my husband does well. I did have a job, however, I'm not getting paid a ton. So $500 was a ton of money for me to just pull out of my butt. So I had a credit card with a limit of $1,000, which is not a lot, but that was the one the bank had given me from when I was a student. And I didn't care to get more money from the bank since I know myself too well. I would go crazy with shopping. Anyways, I tried to purchase the product and my credit card was maxed out. So I was like, hey, I don't know why my credit card won't work, but I'll try later. I knew why, but I was embarrassed. Right away, my aunt was like, well, use your husband's. He needs to support you, and if he loves you, he will want you to start your own business. I was honestly too embarrassed to ask him for money. I don't like asking anyone for money, but I did mention to him what I was doing, and right away he said, it's a pyramid scheme. And I was like, no, it's not. My aunt goes on trips and she gets to work from home, and since I'll be home with a baby, I can make some extra cash. Oh, please. Anyways, I took the money out of my savings to pay my credit card to then put more debt onto my credit card. She had mentioned you only had to put 5 minutes a day of work in. Huh? 5? I was expecting to be on my phone calling people, pressuring people, sending messages to people, which I look back now and I'm so embarrassed. Haha, I see the messages I sent and I cringe. So anyways, I never made the money back. My mom even purchased a couple things that I previously bought to support my quote unquote business and returned them because she hated them. And yes, returning products is super hard. Awful customer service and very hard to get a hold of. Anyways, I kind of decided that this wasn't for me. My aunt kept insisting and would call me every day and get her other cult. I don't know if I agree with this word, but I will still say it because it's her horror story. My aunt kept insisting and would call me every day and get her cult witches, so I'm guessing other reps in the MLM to call me and try to get me pumped up. It didn't work. So once I lost my baby, I was really sad and I didn't want to talk to anyone. My aunt had the audacity to tell me that I should share my story with people to try and sell. Like, no chick, I was pregnant for 5 months and lost my baby. I'm not trying to make money out of that. She's truly a good person, but she is brainwashed. Now with COVID, she has asked me about 5 times if I'm sure I don't want to keep going since everyone needs RNF since they're home and stressed and should take good care of their skin. It makes no sense, honestly. I definitely do not have the heart to ask people to buy $300+ worth of products when they are jobless and people are literally dying, and definitely not making them waste their money thinking they can make millions. Anyways, I don't know why she's always posting she gets to spend more time camping and doing things with her kids. Since to me it seems like she's there but not really there. You know what I mean? She's always on her phone working. Oh, and she always says you can sell this to anybody with skin. Do you know anybody with skin? Like, okay, good one. Love your videos. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here, but I first do want to say that I'm so sorry about your child loss. I can literally not imagine what you're going through. I want you to know that you do have support, like here on my channel with that. The people that listening, you know, we are here for you if you ever need to vent, if you want to, you know, publicly be in the comments and get support, because I know that must not be easy, and especially not easy to tell that story. So it is very sad that she tried to use that, but this is a very common thing I have watched happen that I was told to do that I did. And when you're in the MLM, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that they're doing it because they think that they're just telling their story. Now, while telling your story may come with the fact of people feeling sympathetic or people feeling like they want to buy from you because they feel for you or whatever, I get that, but like, you are taught to tell your story. You are taught to be you on social media. Sometimes you are taught to tell a little bit too much, right? To tell a little bit too much information, and to use that as a tactic is really crappy. I wish that this was taught more in MLMs, and if it is, please let me know. I personally just have not seen it. I have not seen really training on proper marketing. If a business owner has dealt with this, or maybe I've actually seen a small business owner, I'll try and find them and link them below, but they also lost their child and they did make a business because losing their child inspired them to do so. That is their story, but they're not making posts about it and trying to sell a bunch of stuff, like just talking about that story. But if you go to their about section on their website, it does say that. So I can kind of see where telling your story is really important in MLMs if you are trying to connect with people and have them purchase from you. But sometimes people can go a little bit too far and use those scenarios to try and profit, which is really crappy because you're also then leaning on or trying to gear yourself towards vulnerable people. I've said it time and time again, a lot of the times in MLMs, you are taught to reach the person you are or you were, meaning if you're struggling with anxiety, if you're struggling with things like that, you want to reach those people who are also struggling with that or have struggled with that. So a lot of times it's like this vicious cycle of people recruiting or selling to people like them, which are vulnerable. So I do have a little bit of a problem with that, but it's very commonly talked about. And it's like, if no one in these MLMs, and I'm not saying no one does, but if no one in these MLMs talks about how this is problematic, why are they going to change? Because they're taught from their uplines and from the company to tell their stories. So we can't expect anyone to change unless they listen to my video or, you know, do some more research about why you shouldn't say those things. But besides that, they're being taught to do that. So I can understand, but it's a really crappy situation. Also, the fact that this person literally took money out of savings. I hate seeing that. I hate seeing people, you know, losing money that they had to put on credit cards because credit cards have interest. So you end up having to pay your credit card back more money than you actually spent in the MLM when it comes to your starter kits. But also like the whole savings account really makes me sad and all of that stuff. So this was definitely a hard one to read. So let me know what you guys have to say down below about this one and let's support her. But I want to take a quick break. Again, I'll have the timestamps in here to talk about the sponsor of the day. So like I said, today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. And Skillshare is an online learning community and platform that hosts tons, and I mean tons of classes. It honestly has a class for every type of person, no matter what type of person you are. So for example, they have classes from graphic design, music, lifestyle, web development, and more. Clearly, as you guys know, the productivity section is my favorite section because clearly I'm always looking for new ways to be productive. So specifically, this has been my recent fave and it is in the productivity section. So it's actually called Productivity for Creatives and Building a System That Brings Out Your Best. It's from Thomas Frank. He's actually someone I watch like his stuff more often. I really like his way of teaching. I feel like it's very simple, but specifically with this class, it was really cool for me because being someone who creates content, this class is designed to be productive for creatives, people who own their own businesses, small businesses, or creators, content creators, people who just create things. So I thought that this was a really cool twist and aspect to being productive and teaching people to be productive. So with that, this class has also helped me with having a more positive mindset. It has also taught me how to work work with my environment and on my environment, aka my office, to make tasks easier, and even teaches you how to like delegate work to others. And this is also, like I said, a great class for business owners or aspiring business owners. As you know, here on my channel, we are all about supporting small businesses. So if you are someone who is a small business, or if you're an aspiring business owner, I really recommend it. So with that being said, another thing I love is Skillshare is specifically designed for learning. They have no ads on their platform, which I love, and they're always launching new premium classes. So you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you, okay? And it's less than $10 a month with the annual subscription. So with that being said, the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link below in my description will get a free trial. So you actually get a free trial of their premium membership so you can explore your creativity. And let's get back into the video. Skillshare. So, let me know if you are someone that decides to get your free trial to Skillshare. I would love to know. And if you do decide to do that, I would love to know which classes you want to take. Now back into MLM Horror Stories. Oh my gosh, here we've got a long one. I'm excited about this. So it says, "Hey Deanna, I love your channel and I love you so much and your content's amazing. Thank you so much for all of the work you are doing. It makes a huge difference. You can use my name in the video, but this story is about my experience with two MLMs, Amway and Monat. I will start off with Monat because it isn't as cringy as the Amway story. I had become a Monat customer for a month or two because I wanted to support one of my friends. I got a lot of products for about $300 when I ordered. She set up my account for me and she didn't tell me about the $99 one-time fee until after the order was already placed. She also had it where it was set to auto ship, but you can't change that setting, and if you don't go on your account and check everything, then you could get charged a lot of money without even knowing. I was really annoyed at that fact, and then before the products got to me, she told me you had to shampoo your hair twice because the first time you would have to lather it and it won't make suds the first time because it's cleaning your hair of bad oils, and then the second time suds will form. And I thought that was weird, but I let that slide and I did the conditioner. I thought the products were good at first. Then a couple weeks later, my scalp started to itch, and when I got concerned, I reached out to my friend and she said it's detoxing, which I never heard before about your hair. I did not know about the lawsuits at all about people losing their hair and that their scalp itches until I discovered the anti-MLM community about mid-July 2020, and I used the products around June of 2020. Anyways, I ended up trying to cancel my account, but she wouldn't do it. So I had to email back and forth the customer service reps for 2 weeks before I could even return it, and that was even a hassle because they won't return your products until you say, "No, I didn't open them," which was a big pain in the booty. Plus, you had to return your products, and that was expensive in the first place because the weight of the package. Then you got about 90% of your money back, but like I said, I spent maybe $300 and I only got back $150, so I was pissed. I told them to cancel my account, and they finally did after 2 weeks of emails and a few calls. If you order from Monat, be careful, but also I warn you not to because this is such an unethical business and you don't get all of your money back. So I just will pause before I go into the Amway story. I have definitely seen this happen to people before, and this is a comment I make about every MLM. I've made this about Beachbody in my Beachbody deep dive that I did a couple weeks back, that whenever you send products back for most MLMs that I have looked into and have read stories about and got screenshots about, they won't send you like a packing slip, right? Where, for instance, for Chegg, where I buy and rent my books for school, they actually give me a slip so that I don't have to pay to send the box and the book back. So whenever you buy the book or rent the book and you have to send the book back to Chegg, you don't have to pay for the, size of it or the box. You actually keep the box, they send it to you in, you just retape it, you put the shipping labels on and you send it off and you're good to go. I don't like when companies don't do that when you're returning a product. Now I do know it can be expensive for the companies to give you a shipping label, but in my opinion, it's not going to be that much. Like, I don't know, that's just my opinion. Like, I think companies should provide that for you if you want to ship something back, or if you tried it and you had an allergic reaction to something or something like that. I just feel like you should, because in this scenario, you don't get your whole money back. This happened to me, like actually my story in Beachbody. I didn't get all my money back either whenever I would send things back that I didn't mean to order or that were on auto ship that I forgot to undo. Also, if anyone has done this before, please let me know, but I actually think you can report this kind of stuff to the FTC. I have seen other MLMs get investigated because of the fact that the MLM reps would make the accounts for them. And by the MLM reps making the accounts for people, what happens is a lot of the times they leave things out. Like I said, a lot of the times, not every time. I don't like to generalize a group of people, but for those people who do make the account for you, a lot of the times they forget to tell you about things like auto shipment and that you have to keep your account for 3 months or those extra fees that this person talked about. So I really, really recommend reporting things like that, because when someone else signs you up, you're not reading the terms and conditions. So you are not essentially legally signing that contract, the other person is. So in my opinion, it gets real shady there. And again, I have seen instances where this has been investigated and has been taken care of to the point where people cannot sign you up. Like, you will get into a lot of trouble if you do that. So I would recommend, if you ever want to report that to someone, if you have the proof of it, that they did that, I would report it, just because it shouldn't be happening. And you know, now we could save people in the future from not having to deal with that scenario. So the Amway story, it says, this is a long one. I had just joined Amway around 2016 to 2018, and it was the worst 2 years of my life. But yet I ended up joining because my boyfriend was a part of the company, and thankfully he got out the same time as me. But he was really sketchy about the company because he said there was a vetting process to see who was really serious about the company. Yet you didn't find out about what the company was until you got through the vetting process. The process was basically this. 1, you met with whoever was going to invite you to the meeting where you met the uplines, and they ask you a lot of questions to get to know you. If you pass their test, you are asked to read a book called The Business of the 21st Century by Robert K. 2, you have about a week to read the book. Then once you read the book, you have another follow-up meeting and you talk about the book. Then you set up a time to go to a meeting at the designated meeting spot. 3, once you get to the meeting spot, ours was at a hotel, and you had to pay $10 every Tuesday night when you go to the meeting. And you had to sit through at least 3 of these meetings until you were considered vetted and ready to join the business. You had to sit for about 2 hours listening to a presentation, and you found out it was Amway about 45 minutes in, so it was really weird. And they kept mentioning, oh, we are in a pyramid scheme. How can we be? We help many people every day. Like, ew, no. Side note, during the meeting, you listen to the board plan, which basically explain that you need to redirect your selling to a site where you get paid a percentage on what you spend. Then if you get at least 2 to 6 people to sign up, you rank up to the next level. Then at the end of the meeting, you hear from the platinums, which are the people who have hit 7,500 PV in the company and have a pretty big team under them. I've attached the comp plan below, the way they set up how to make money in the point system, to this email. Oh, we can look at that after. I love stuff like that. 4, once you get the A-OK from the uplines, you start the business for about $99, and that is the product pack. And you also had to download app subscriptions, which included the BWW, Brit Worldwide Platforms. That was an app that you had to send a message to your upline and the team that you were a part of the daily takeaways from what you read that day, which audios you listened to, and the takeaways from that, and if you had any business meetings or any future prospects you were talking to. Another app was an audio app, and all of the platinums and above spoke, and these 2 apps were about $30 a month, so it wasn't cheap. Oh yeah, the team I was a part of also didn't do a standard 100 PV a month. They did 200 PV a month, which essentially is $400 to $600 worth of products a month. I never really did that much. The most I could afford was $100 to $200 monthly. I was out of college for a year at this point, and I was struggling financially, paying for my apartment and all of my bills and school loans, so I was in a bad place financially. And I was in for 2 years, so no one really took me seriously. That is going to come up in a couple minutes where I explain that. So after you are in the business, they brainwash you from the get-go, and they're like, if no one agrees with what you're doing, you do not need them in your life. And I was actually starting to believe that for a while, and I almost lost 2 of my best friends of 2 decades to this really twisted company. My friends got distant from me. I was becoming someone who I didn't even recognize. And I was also so brainwashed for about 6 months, but then my friends started speaking to me more and more saying, this is a scam. Why are you in this? Get out. And I had the feeling that they were right, but I didn't listen. You have to go to 4 conferences a year, and they are about $80 to $150 a ticket, depending on which state you go to. The ones I went to were Syracuse, New York, York, Virginia, they had 2 there, and Maryland. I had to take a few days off of work, but I wasted so much time and money on this business, and it is a terrible investment. So please don't join if you're listening. Anyways, the conferences were a joke. You had to listen to diamond level people and some high up platinums, and they hype you up with their stories of, if I can do this, you can too. Which is not true. You're basically scamming and manipulating people of their time and money. The doozy of this whole story were my uplines. I'll call them Karen and Chad. They were very supportive from the beginning of me joining, but they eventually started talking down to me, and I was feeling guilty for not hitting my PV goal and that I didn't get anyone to join the business within the first 2 years that I was in. But the only thing I really liked was the reading. Karen had let the rank of her and her husband's team get to her head, and even my boyfriend started to realize that, and he was the one who was like, you don't realize she talks down to you and belittles you? And I didn't. Karen and Chad were the definition of toxic positivity, and they always wanted to seem uplifting, and they even guilt tripped us at monthly team meetings and would say, do I want a dog? Yes, of course. But until I hit diamond, I won't do that. And I always thought this was a weird thing to say, and they basically said they wouldn't get a house until they hit diamond and retired from their 9-to-5 jobs, which I also thought was weird. But to each their own. Also, they wanted us to tell future people that, oh, my uplines retired from their job at 30, but that's not true. I also want to pause really quickly because I'm going to forget about this, but the part where she said that her boyfriend mentioned, you don't realize she talks down to you and belittles you. That can happen in a lot of scenarios of manipulation. It doesn't have to just revolve around MLMs. It could just be a friend of yours. A friend of yours that's always talking down to you, manipulating you, but maybe you're a nice person. You just listen to your friend, you let them vent to you, whatever it may be. You may not realize that they are manipulating you or taking advantage of you, gaslighting you, all of those things. But this is very common in cults, in MLMs, in everyday life, at your jobs. There are times where this may happen to you, and it's so hard for people to realize, especially if it's a power position. So I haven't really talked about this much. Actually, I think this is the first time I've talked about it. I don't like that uplines are really looked at as this power position, just like teachers, right? Teachers to their students, professors to their college students. Professors shouldn't be recruiting their college students. For example, if they are a professor at a college that talks about finance and you are in a finance major, a marketing major, and you have to take a finance course and that professor tells you to join their MLM, that's a power type of relationship. I don't like it. I don't think it's really wrong. It could be the same thing for influencers. When influencers that are really big get you to join something or do something, you might do it because you look up to this person. So if you look up to someone, which a lot of the times, please tell me if this has happened to you, if you've ever joined an MLM, in that MLM, you look up to that upline. You see an upline that's successful, that's doing the dang thing, that's working, that's doing it. Why wouldn't you, listen, why wouldn't you believe them? Why wouldn't you, try and see or try and do what they say it will make them successful or will make you successful? This happens in every scenario at a job. If you have a mentor and that mentor teaches you or tells you hey, you need to do this to, get above in corporate or to get to the next job position or to, keep going higher, to get this raise, you need to do this, this, and this. Why would you not listen? Because that is a power type of relationship and you want to listen to someone who's done it before, who's been there before. So that's why a lot of times I get really frustrated if an influencer that's really, really big and has a big platform joins an MLM. Now, again, they can do whatever they want. They are entitled to doing, again, whatever they want. That's their life and they can do whatever they want with it, as I do whatever I want with my life and no one can tell me otherwise. But they have a large influence and are in that power position to influence a lot of people, and people who don't look into things and listen to them may feel as if they want to join this MLM because of it. So when you're in the MLM, you want to listen to your upline, you want to be inspired by them, and you look up to them. So when you are manipulated, gaslit, belittled, whatever, you don't realize it because you think of it as, oh, I just, need to listen to her. She's just telling me what I need to do. And you keep coming up with these excuses in your mind because this is a power relationship. I don't know, is that what it's actually called? There's an actual term for it. I just can't think of it right now, but that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to explain that. I've never talked about it before. Maybe I'll make a whole video about power dynamics and all of that stuff. I guess that's what I'm calling it because I don't know if that's the actual term for it. But I'm just not a fan when that happens because it can lead to this where you are being belittled from your upline, from a CEO, from anyone, again, any scenario in life, and you don't realize it. So So I also found this great article on goodtherapy.org. I really love this website. I use it a lot when I'm looking things up. So they have a whole article on power dynamics in relationships, power dynamics in the workplace, power, oppression, literally everything you can think of. They cited all of their sources, which they always do. So I will link this down below if you want, like a little bit more information on this type of concept. I will link that. And also let me know in the comments down below if you would actually like me to do a video on this. I am very interested in this topic. So if I do a video on it, it would be a video clearly connecting to MLMs and the whole power dynamic within MLMs and how that could really affect the way downlines do things, and it ends up being a lot of manipulation from the uplines and from the CEOs because people want to be successful. And then I can kind of wrap it up in the real world and how power dynamics are affected in the real workspace. So let me know if you want me to do that. So I say you are not alone. So many people have been through that, so I just wanted to mention that. Now let's keep going. Enough of me talking. I just thought that was like the perfect time to plug that in. She goes, anyways, I know this is super long, but the last straw before I left was when I asked to speak to Chad about Karen's behavior to me. I told him how I felt and he basically brushed off my feelings and said I wasn't validated in feeling like Karen was talking down to me because I wasn't putting in the work and she was frustrated with me. Then I told him that I wanted to focus on my dreams of acting, writing, and singing, and he basically said, oh, well, you should focus. Okay, wait. Oh, well, you should focus on the business first and put your dreams on hold. And ever since that conversation, I was speechless. In my personal opinion, if anyone tells you to put your dreams on hold, excuse my French, the F word. Yeah, heck to them. And no, you don't need that person in your life. If I learned anything from that experience, it's go with your gut feeling and save your time, money, and effort to something more worthwhile. And the lifestyle that Amway and any other MLM is not what it seems. It was not glamorous and you put too much pressure on yourself. Plus, you turn into this MLM machine where you get brainwashed. Do not join the cult. Thank you, Dee, for reading this. Sorry that this is too long, but an update from me is that I have continued to yay, an update! I love these. But I have continued to follow my acting, writing, and singing dreams, and I released my first EP December 2020, and my first book will be released mid-2021. And my acting career is starting to slowly take off. So thank you for this platform to express these horror stories. Oh my gosh, congrats. I love to just hear people go for their dreams and what they want and love it while they're doing it. This makes me so freaking happy for you. Oh my gosh. So that was like a good ending. Now, I am really happy that this person did finally realize that the Karen was treating her a certain type of way, but it also does stink that Chad's just like, well, you're not working hard enough. That does frustrate me because no one should invalidate someone's feelings or experience. Now, let me say, you may have a difference of opinion and that's totally fine. If me and someone else are talking about a topic or a subject matter and I have a difference of opinion of her, or him or they, whoever it is, that doesn't mean that their experience is invalidated. I just have a different opinion about the topic, but their experience is still validated. How they feel matters. And you guys know how big I am on that, so I won't even go in depth in that, but it really frustrates me when people try to invalidate someone's feelings. Again, difference of opinion is fine, debating is fine, swapping facts is fine, but invalidating feelings, not fine. So now I want to look into this Amway stuff she sent me. So the first graphic she actually sent me of Amway was their IBO bonus. So here's where it shows like the PV, how much PV you need, your customers, and all of that stuff. It just looks like an eye or like a bird's eye view of a pyramid in my opinion. So that's funny. I won't go too much into that, but then the next one shows the PV system of people at the top having 7,500 PV and people under them, and then the minimum monthly spend. Ooh, so it says the US dollar value required to generate the minimum points from the sample bonus statements printed in the Amway compensation plan. I'm gonna do a little digging on this. I probably will do an Amway deep dive because this I'm curious about. So she sent me the minimum monthly spend. So there's points, as in PV points, that add up to US dollars, that add up to commission amounts. So my question is, does this mean if I sell 100 PV points worth of product, I get 3% commission? So saying that like the higher amount of PV points you sell or product product, you know, US dollar amounts you sell, the more commission you make. Because if that is what this says, which I will research it for you guys, I'll put it in the comments, or I'll break right here and show you guys a screen record and a voiceover. Okay, you guys, so I actually had someone send me the Amway compensation plan. It is a very, very, very confusing compensation plan that I am not going to explain now, but essentially what I was talking about was correct. The team points that are earned from the downlines, from the actual rep themselves, ends up turning into the percent of the commissions that they will earn. So again, it's a lot more detailed than that, but here are some examples of how it looks when you get 3% all the way up to the 21% commission. So essentially, the less products you sell, the less your downline does, the less percentage of commission you make. But if that's what it is, and it's literally like, oh, 100 PV points or 100 points is $300 and you only earn 3% commission, these are the scenarios where I'm like, start your own business. Like, that comp plan is not worth it. Making only 3%, 6%, 9% commission off of that many points, and then their point to dollar conversion, I don't like it literally says 7,500 points equals $22,500, and then with that you only get 25% commission. But like 3% commission off of 100 points of $300 US. I'm gonna look into this for you guys because I don't like that. I just personally don't. This is why I really love supporting like small businesses where I know that small business owners are getting all of the profit. Clearly they have like their overhead costs and things like that, but besides that, they make all of the profit, and I love knowing where my money is going. I personally, and you again, can, you know, do what you feel is great. If you like an MLM product and you want to keep purchasing from it, I say go for it. That's what you want to do, and I'm not going to judge that because everyone has their own standards when it comes to MLMs and like how much they will support them or not support them. So personally for myself, I do want to put money into like smaller businesses and things like that where those people receive all of the commissions. I hate knowing that like if I buy from an MLM rep, that for instance with Amway, they're only going to get 3% commission, and then from there their uplines are going to receive a percentage, and then from there the actual company is going to receive so much profit from all the hard work that person did. I just don't appreciate it. I don't like it. So let me know what you guys think about this story. I say thank you so much for this story. This was actually a really like well written, very like concise and good story. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for the screenshots. I'm very intrigued. Now I'm about to type in my little notes, just caps Amway research comp plan because I really want to know about it. But anyways, I again want to say thank you to the sponsor for this video, which is Skillshare. Thank you so much for sponsoring, you know, me. That's so nice of you. And with that being said, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to comment down below. Do you relate to any of these stories? Do you agree with some of the things I said? Do you disagree? Because I love hearing different opinions down below. I love hearing criticism. I don't like hearing people, you know, calling me names and things like that, but criticism or debates, disagreements, that is okay because not everyone should be the same, and I appreciate different perspectives. Leave those down below. Leave some support for the individuals who share their stories, and then don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I upload 3 days a week as of right now. Mondays and Fridays I talk about MLMs, I talk about scams, I educate, I inform, I do horror stories, I read experiences. I have some interviews coming up where I'll be interviewing some people, which I'm very excited about. And then on Wednesdays I do lifestyle videos like my 6 a.m. morning routine, vlogs, Amazon hauls, gluten-free food that are my faves, and all of that fun stuff. So I hope to see you stick around, and that will be all. See you in the next one. Hey, on Monday.